How are you doing, everyone? Welcome again to the hotspot. My name is Webb. It is a Tuesday, and today will be a bit different. I'm not just giving you updates about this club, I am just going to relax, sit back, and slouch and tell you about this man who is expected to change things around Manchester United. Now, I know that most of you are excited about the arrival of Sir Jim Ratcliffe and what exactly he's destined to do, but I'll tell you everything Jim Ratcliffe is bound to do will all depend on who he appoints as the director of football. And guess what? Paul Mitchell is a front runner for that job. But who is Paul Mitchell? That's what I'm here to tell you about. Welcome to the hotspot. My name is Webb, and let's get proper into this video. Now, Paul Mitchell has been rumored to be the man that the new boss of football matters at Manchester United, that is Sir Jim Ratcliffe, has pointed at as the right one to come and steer this club in the right direction. Without a shadow of a doubt, if the footballing matters of a club are in shambles, obviously the man at the top of them is certainly going to be the first person to be booted if you bring in a new boss to run football. I mean, if you're bringing in Sir Jim Ratcliffe as the man taking 25% of 25% stake in Man United and taking control of all football matters, the first thing he's got to change is the director of football. And the current director of football, John Matta, has clearly failed when it came to football matters, and no one will be feeling bad about United losing John Matta. But we will feel bad if we appoint a person who is not going to give us what we expect, because the pressure is obviously going to shift on them. The manager is under pressure now, but when they bring in a new director of football, Eric Ten Hag might be eased a bit, and that pressure will shift on that man. Now, who is Paul Mitchell? This man that many feel is the right one to take this job. Now, Paul Mitchell is a British former footballer who has been around football. Currently, he's the director of football at Monaco, AS Monaco, that is, or sporting director at Monaco, AS Monaco, that is in France. And he's a guy who has been around for a minute. He has done so many things in football, not as a footballer, because as a footballer, his career was not the most exciting. He played for Wigan Athletic, he played for Halifax Town, he played for Swindon Town, Milton Keynes Dons, which he later went on, and that's where he started his career after retiring as a director of football, Wrexham and Barnet. Those are the clubs rather, that he played for. But his journey in recruitment away from the pitch went on after he retired, as he started as head of recruitment at Milton Keynes Dons. Now, that gave him a lot of experience, and it is from Milton Keynes Dons that he attracted the attention of some top clubs, and to be precise, he attracted the attention of Southampton. At Milton Keynes Dons, he was mostly credited for signing Alan Smith, the former England international for Milton. Of course, it takes a lot of connection and ability and muscle for you to be able to sign a player like Alan Smith to join a team like Milton Keynes Dons. This is a former England player joining a small club like Milton Keynes Dons. So that speaks about the kind of guy we're talking about now. That was back then when he was at Milton Keynes Dons. But from Milton Keynes Dons, Paul Mitchell proceeded and worked with Mauricio Pochettino at Southampton. Now, this is where the world got to saw most of his abilities and magic away from football. He was never an exciting defender. He was a defender, but he was never the best of defenders. But boy, as a scout, because being a director of recruitment is you having the eye for talent. That's being a scout, literally. Being a director of football as well, you have to be a scout. So this guy, I think, just showboated, if I would call it that, at Southampton, because he was responsible for signing players like Sadio Mane at Southampton. He scouted Sadio Mane and to take him to Southampton. Now, I don't need to sit here and tell you about what Sadio Mane achieved with Southampton, how good he was at Southampton. Now, this was him working with Mauricio Pochettino, the current Chelsea boss. Now, Pochettino is obviously one of the best managers of this generation, the younger generation of managers coming up. So that is the man we are talking about, who is being looked at as the new guy to come and change football at United. He also signed players like Nathaniel Klein, still at Southampton, These are some of the big names he brought Paolo Gazzaniga, Steven Davis, Maya Yoshida. If you remember such names, these are all players who are credited to him. Now, he also away from Southampton, because when Mauricio Pochettino moved from Southampton to Tottenham, he had to get his man, because it was almost the same project, a building project as if at Spurs. And he needed a person, because if you're going to build, and that is exactly what Manchester United has been trying to do for the longest time, but if you're going to build, you've got to be able to do so with young players. And that is why Pochettino, when he joined Tottenham, he still later on he was joined by Paul Mitchell as, again, the guy he was working with as a director of football there. And these are the players, again, he was created for. Players like Dele Alli. He signed Dele Alli. That is at Spurs, a talent. Never mind how it ended for him because of the challenges he got. Those happened, but you cannot question the talent of Dele Alli. If you ask me, after Jack Wilshere, Dele Alli is one of the more naturally talented English players we've seen, I think, in these times. So he was scouted still by Paul Mitchell, this Englishman. The same guy United are looking at. The same Paul Mitchell was responsible for scouting Son Heung-min, the Spurs wonder kid. Yes, the same Paul Mitchell brought that Spurs wonder kid to Tottenham Hotspurs. He's the same Paul Mitchell who scouted players like Kieran Trippier, players like Toby Alderweireld. So I can go on and on and on talking about players that Paul Mitchell has seen, talent he has identified, and I don't think you need to question his abilities as in the role of director of football. If you ask me, one of the biggest problems Manchester United has had for the longest time after Sir Alex Ferguson left is the lack of the right scouts. Think about it. When teams like Borussia Dortmund were scouting players like Jadon Sancho, players like, and these are English players, players like Jude Bellingham, players like who went on, of course, to at Birmingham. When teams like Birmingham were scouting players like those, now he's at Real Madrid, young, he's 19. United had a chance to sign him. Somehow, the scouts at United did not see the talent in him. United had a chance to sign Erling Haaland. Somehow, we missed him. Now that for me speaks volumes. It gives a bad expose of how bad our scouts are. And for me, when we talk about the poor football at United, it goes beyond just the manager and also the guys on top of him. It goes directly to the scouts. United has got such a poor scouting system that when other clubs are scouting Jude Bellingham and Erling Haaland and all these Musialas, the hot players in the world, United is scouting, the Scott McTominays are scouting, I don't know who. And it tells you how bad our scouting system is. How come United, we should be the club having all the hottest talent in the world? We at least we should be assembling some of the hottest talent in the world. I don't think we have that. We are struggling now because we lack talent at the club. So for me, I think Paul Mitchell would be a big catch. I think him coming in would change a lot of things for Man United. Would I think it would then give me assurance, and for me it is so important. If Paul Mitchell comes in, to give me assurance that Manchester United's project is now clearly long term, that there is a long term plan to solve things. Because if you bring in Sir Jim Ratcliffe and he hires Paul Mitchell, and maybe above him brings Jean-Claude Blo as the CEO, you are seriously seeing a club trying to put things right for the longer good, for the greater good. And for me, that's what I want to see. Not short-term solutions of bringing in guys, have a lot of money to buy players, expensive players, who will do nothing, because that model has clearly not worked with Manchester United. So Paul Mitchell's arrival would be, for me, I think, the game changer for United. It will be an instant game changer. It is said, according to reports from Spain, that he's already down working even before Sir Jim Ratcliffe is officially confirmed as the man in charge of football at the club, which is expected to happen in days to come. This man apparently is already working. Probably there's been an agreement, I think, a gentleman's agreement between him and Sir Jim Ratcliffe, because Jim Ratcliffe, I think, has been waiting too long. He can't wait to come and be the hero at Man United. So this man was seen apparently in Spain watching Getafe playing, and he apparently was impressed by what he saw with our boy Mason Greenwood, and there is talk that of course he wants him back, and he would want, if when Sir Jim Ratcliffe comes in, they would want to bring him back and actually tie him to a longer contract. His contract currently runs out in 2025, but apparently Mitchell was impressed and is saying, I mean, you don't lose a talent like that, like we've all been saying. So for me, there are certain things that I'm beginning to hear and see that I think sort of for me give me an idea that perhaps Sir Jim Ratcliffe could change things around and correct many wrongs that had been done by John Mata, and of course under the guidance of his super glazers. And for me, it looks promising for Manchester United. I don't know what you think, but for me, that's my opinion. But basically, I wanted to give you an idea and an understanding of who Paul Mitchell, the man trending now globally as the potential next director of football at Manchester United, has done. What is his claim to fame? That's his claim to fame. This guy has been responsible for identifying some of the most exciting young players in English football. And by the way, it takes a different art. English football is different. It is not obvious that you can scout talent for the Premier League, for English clubs, because English football is quite complicated, that even the seemingly best players have struggled in that league. So it takes someone who knows the league, and that's why for me, there can never be a better candidate for the role for United now than Paul Mitchell to be director of football, to get us from the gutters where John Mata and co had sunk us to utopia, where we dream to be. My name is Webb. Hotspot, subscribe. Welcome Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Welcome Paul Mitchell. Let's wait and see what's going to happen or what the future has got to hold for Manchester United. But a reminder, subscribe fam. I'll catch you later.